5 seconds to go. Start. The young man and the young woman looked even younger than their years as they left the offices of Country Properties Limited with a few orders to view in their hands. They were indeed two young people very much in love and recently married, and they were looking for a house. They had been married for just 6 months, and when they got married on that cold December day, they had believed that they would soon find a place to let, and it did not seem necessary to wait for that happy day before setting up home together. So they had gone to live with his mother, having only one room of their own, and they had been very, very happy. It was an old house, however, with no modern changes. It was in a street lined on both sides with old houses just like it, and when April had come and the days grew longer, the young married people all at once began to long for a little house of their own, with their own things in the rooms, and with a little land at the back and in the front where they could plant things and watch them grow. It did not seem very much to ask, yet it was something that was being asked by thousands of other young people. There seemed little enough hope of their being able to get such a place because all the small houses were for sale and not to let, and they had no capital. Will, the young man, was an engineer, and May, a beautiful young person with eyes so clear and true, had been a maid in a big boarding house at the seaside before her marriage. Neither of them had had any opportunity to save money and to buy even the smallest house. It was necessary to have some capital to put down for the first payment. There had been times during that month of April when May thought that Will had lost interest in her. He sat so often deep in thought and without speaking. When she asked him what he was thinking about, he would answer shortly, work. And then one day he told her the truth. The big engineering works where he spent his days and set a competition for their workers. The company desired to cut its operating costs, and being a forward thinking undertaking, it believed that the workers themselves who had to do the work might probably be able to think of ways and means of improving methods. The first prize was to be pound 500 if the best suggestion put forward seemed worth that sum. So Will had thought and had put in his own ideas for the improvement of methods. The following day he told me the employees were to learn who had won the prizes. May put her hands in his, for she saw that he cared very much, that he had high hopes, but she could not help feeling that the pound 500 would never be theirs. She was wrong. Will won the prize, and his suggestions were considered to be so outstanding that the directors of the company had marked him down as a man worth watching. So, on that lovely day in June, Will and May had some houses to look over, houses in the country with rooms with a view. The first of the houses turned out to be much too large. The house was cheap, but it was old and would need much money spent on it before it would be any good at all. The second house, on the other hand, was too small. It was a pleasing little place, very clean and well planned, but far too small. May was beginning to have a heavy heart. Perhaps even with the money in the bank, it would still be responsible for them to get a house to meet their requirements, and their requirements, she believed, were so simple. They walked to the third house. It was a little way out of the small market town, off the principal street, and the road leading to it had not been made up. They had to walk carefully in order not to fall into the many holes that were in the road. Oh dear, this is no good, thought May, and then they saw the house. Set well back from the road, it was placed by itself in a wide piece of land. It was white, and the windows and doors were covered with clean blue paint. The windows were low and long, and the rooms inside were clean and light. The grounds had been well cared for. Oh, what a wonderful place! May cried, and she knew that she must live her married life in that house and in no other. And the hearts of those two young people were light, and they seemed to walk on air as they returned to the property office to put down some money and sign some papers. Stop.